And I want to turn now, if I may, to John Zarella, my colleague here, who's covered the space program for some time. This represents something of a departure, does it not? Sean O'Keefe has really opened up the process and is sharing information, which has not always been the first reflex of this agency.
Right, exactly, and certainly back in 1986, that really was not the case back in 1986. It was far more of a closed family here, and they kept the information very close to the vest for quite some time, but an open process here, certainly.
John, I've just been told that our colleague Gary Tuckman is available. Gary, let's go to you quickly.
It works for NASA, and that's why what's happened today. We come to you from the Sunrise Diner in Cocoa Beach, just south of the Cape, where people are obviously talking about what happened today. Right here we have Mike and Joanna. Mike, you were telling me that Joanna, who's your friend, called you to tell you about the shuttle explosion. What did you think when you first heard that?
At first I didn't believe it, you know, shock and amazement, and then when I seen it was true, you think about the families and all that. And very sad thing.
You tell me when you live here, you just take for granted that the missions will all go okay.
Yeah, I mean, when I first moved down here, it was all we had to watch everyone come in, and then you just take for granted that they'll get here safely, and this time they didn't.
Thanks for talking with us. We want to go over here. This is Frank and Marilyn. Frank and Marilyn live in New York State half the year, and they live here half the year. And Marilyn was telling me that regularly they go out on their balcony on the ocean here when the shuttle takes off and when it lands, right?
That's right. It's very exciting, and being away from this area, I don't take it for granted. I think it's so exciting to watch the shuttles and the rockets go up, and we're on our balcony every single time.
Including this morning, right?
Including this morning.
Tell me what happened this morning.
We were there at 9 o'clock, and I was looking out, looking at the people on the beach, and waiting for the sound of that beautiful... I'm just really sad about this whole thing. But my heart goes out to all of the people involved, the families especially, their children, and Israel. I feel very sadly because they have a hero in India and especially the United States. I'm so sad for all of them. I think they're all heroes.
Frank and Marilyn, thank you very much for talking with me. It's obviously very emotional for the nation, for the world, but particularly for the people here on the Space Coast of Florida. Lou, back to you.
Gary, thank you very much. Gary Tuckman in Cocoa Beach, Florida. Now back to you, Miles.
All right, thank you very much, Lou. A check of the latest developments in today's shuttle tragedy is just ahead. And the question burning on so many minds tonight, what went wrong up there? We'll have a closer look at what we know at this time, obviously very early, and where authorities are focusing their attention as they work through the night tonight, Mission Control Houston. Plus, one of the crew members, Israel's first astronaut. We'll have a live report from Jerusalem for a man who was a national hero in that country. And later, in their own words, family members who are expecting their loved ones to return home to Earth this morning, their thoughts and their feelings on this terribly tragic day.
Broke into fiery pieces. It was absolutely the hottest point of re-entry, 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Parts of the shuttle have been found in East Texas and Louisiana. Some pieces were so hot that they caused fires, as you see here. The spacecraft was so high the debris field may extend into New Mexico and Arizona. Parts of what authorities suspect are human remains also have been found. Now, as for the cause, several minutes before the breakup, there were some sensors on Columbia's left wing. They began failing, temperature sensors specifically, toward the rear portion of the wing. Others registered high temperatures, and there are reports that there were some unusual movements of the flaps at the back called elevons. Memories have gone back to launch day, when cameras saw a piece of foam insulation from the fuel tank breaking off, hitting Columbia's left wing. The shuttle program manager, Ron Dittemore, says at this point, not a smoking gun, but he adds, we cannot discount that there may be a connection. And we should tell you the person who will be heading this investigation. NASA has named a retired admiral who also headed the investigation into the explosion on board the USS Cole in Yemen to lead the investigation. His name is Admiral Harold Hal Gemin, and he will lead this independent investigation into determining the cause of the disintegration of the Space Shuttle Columbia. We will keep you posted on that. A team of experts from the National Transportation Safety Board is heading for Barksdale Air Force Base in Louisiana. That's where NASA has set up a command post. The NTSB will help the space agency in what is expected to be a lengthy and difficult investigation of this morning's disaster.
First things first, NASA starts eliminating possible causes.
We have no indication that the mishap was caused by anything or anyone on the ground.
From there, the potential causes are innumerable, given the 1 million parts and complex operations that go into any shuttle mission. As rocket scientists like to say, it's always what you do not expect, because if you'd thought of it, you'd have fixed it. One of the Space Shuttle program's greatest achievements was the development of the insulating tiles that protect the shuttle on re-entry. There are more than 20,000 of them on each shuttle. Made of silica fiber, they are cool to the touch just seconds after being exposed to a 2,200-degree kiln. While they have been a great achievement, they have been a continuing problem for shuttle managers. They are brittle and can easily be knocked off during launch. The shuttle can land if some insulating tiles are damaged or break off, as seen here on the Space Shuttle Discovery. But if too many tiles are gone, the shuttle would get too hot.
The heat could actually cause the structure of the orbiter to break.
During Columbia's launch, a piece of insulation from the external fuel tank broke off and perhaps damaged some ceramic tiles. But shuttle managers determined it was safe for the mission to continue.
We can't discount that there might be a connection, but we have to caution you and ourselves that we can't rush to judgment on it.
Another likely point of focus for investigators, the attitude of the shuttle on re-entry. If the nose goes too high or too low, the shuttle could tumble and break up.
The belly of the shuttle is well protected, but if you get in the wrong orientation at any moment during that re-entry, you are not protected on all sides, and so once you start coming apart, there's nothing you can do.
Columbia was the oldest shuttle. Just last year, engineers found stress and age cracks in shuttle engine parts. While those problems, experts say, are not likely to be the cause of this disaster, there could be some other unforeseen age-related problem with the shuttle. Whatever the cause, there may be clues in the data transmitted from the shuttle before communication was lost.
We will be poring over that data 24 hours a day for the foreseeable future.
NASA has undertaken major investigations several times before, the last after the Challenger disaster. Randy Avera worked on that investigation into why the Challenger disintegrated over the ocean shortly after liftoff.
What we do not have, as far as we know today, on the Columbia crash today, is close-up telescopic photos and videos of the actual effects that were taking place on the orbiter.
The first job, finding all the pieces that can be found, looking for clues in the fields, forests, and backyards of eastern Texas and western Louisiana.